Hello, I'm Al Knight, and welcome again to the next episode of Eclectic Corrales. Today we're going to be talking with Patricia and Chris Windisch of Ambiente and the Mercado de Mayo in Corrales. So, Patricia, what brought you to Corrales to start your business and live here, and what do you like about Corrales?
Well, I came from a small town in Illinois, and Albuquerque was a little overwhelming. I came out here to go to the university, and I lived in the dorm, and when I got out of the dorm, I wanted small town. And I moved in to the adobe across the street from here.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, me and the ghost.
Me and the ghost. So when did you start your business?
Oh my gosh.
1983.
1983? I was a child.
So what possessed you to start this style of business?
I loved folk art. I got my degree in archaeology, so I like artifacts.
Yeah.
And
Pottery.
yeah, and I became a potter, and I needed an outlet for my pottery. And I remember early on, they let me set up and sell my pottery out in front of the building. It was owned by Joanne Dale then. And eventually there was a wall there. I got part of this room, and then I got half of this room, and then 3/4 of the room. And that's how it started.
What led you to purchasing the entire shopping?
That was my husband's doing.
So take the whole thing?
Yeah.
When
When did you guys get married?
We got married in 1986, but I had lived in Santa Fe, and I'd watched Santa Fe commercially go crazy. I was a builder. I was involved in some of the building. And when we moved, I moved here, got involved with the business with Patricia. I wanted to not be subject to the high rents and stuff. So we bought the building, and we, scrounged and got enough money to do a deposit and bought it. And it was probably one of the smarter things we've done. Being a landlord is fun. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, and I was in the jewelry business back on the East Coast a little bit when I was in college, and I brought that element into the store because we both liked jewelry, and we liked historical art, cultural art.
I would have dealers that would come by and sell to me. And if I liked what they brought, I would buy it. If I didn't, I'd say, this doesn't apply to my store.
But then we started traveling
Yeah.
to different places also. And,
So that had kind of expanded your scope of things, so to speak.
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
So how has the Mercado worked out for you? I mean, this is kind of a stable. This is the only little strip mall in Corrales, I think. So how has that worked out over the years?
I think it's worked out really well.
it's good, and we basically being in the arts, both of us. I worked in film for 39 years. Being in the arts, we like bringing art into the building and supporting the local artists and small business people. And we're kind of like a ma and pa kind of organization. We try to be fair, and we have some nice people in the building. It's good. It's good. And just to go back to about the business, I think anyone that lives in New Mexico long enough, you're exposed to so much indigenous cultures, it opens you up to other cultures in the world. So we have things from Mexico, we have things from Africa, we have things from Asia. It kind of perks your interest in things. And I think that's basically what happened here. You have things from India, Pakistan, just anything made by hand, and that has a story behind it and a culture behind it.
Yeah, I got my degree in archaeology, and that's basically artifacts.
The inspiration for what your business became.
Yeah.
Chris, you talked a little bit before about why you came out here, but you were in the movie business for a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about what your experience in the film industry was like?
Sure. I came out in 1977. I was backpacking around the country. Came to Santa Fe, liked it, settled there. My family had worked in film, so I was aware of that business. I started working in construction in Santa Fe, then started some film work, liked it, liked the energy of it, the intensity of it. And I started basically as a carpenter, worked my way up to management, wound up being a construction coordinator, which is like a project manager, managed the whole construction department, worked for the art department. It involved design and engineering and what I call seat of the pants engineering, and you pull a lot of things off and you work very hard, and it's exciting. You push the envelope. It's a very exciting business. Did it for 39 years, and then finally, put that behind us. But when I traveled around the country, different places. On my off time, I'd buy for the store. I'd buy things. I'd go, working in LA, I'd go to the antique shows, the jewelry sales. I'd buy. Even when I was in Mexico, I did a show in Mexico. I went with the set deck department, the decorator, and we would go on weekends, on our day off, we'd go to the markets all over Mexico. And I'd buy there and ship stuff back here. So it's always been, the cultural art thing has always been part of what we like. I mean, our house looks like our store looks like our house. We have a lot of stuff. And you could probably attest to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
We like stuff.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And I did early in college, I sold jewelry. I sold Indian jewelry, so I had a knowledge of that. We bought a lot of stuff out here, and we brought that into it. We'd buy right from a lot of the artists, and we spent a lot of our time, my off time, buying to sell in the store, and it was a hobby, a habit.
It's still a habit.
It's still a habit.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of personal relationships with the people that you buy some of the stuff from. Can you talk a little bit about that and who these people are and where they sort of come from and develop their art?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of people in New Mexico that make a living from making their craft. And that's pretty much what New Mexico has been known for. Mm-hmm. Pottery, jewelry, a lot of things. And they found us and we found them. We would go to the flea markets. We would meet craftsmen at their houses. And not only that, but they're great people.
And a lot of personal relationships, I
Yes,
assume.
absolutely.
We're both the people we buy from and with the people in our village, in our store, the people that come in. We have a personal attachment. Patricia started doing her Christmas sales 38 years ago as a thank you to her customers. And it was before big commerce, big businesses would have sales all the time. But it was a thank you for people supporting a little business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, along those lines, how would you describe the community of Corrales and this from them over the years?
Oh, Corrales has been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So it's been a very supportive community for your
Very
business.
supportive. Very supportive.
Corrales is great. Corrales, very good community. In my career, I worked in Los Angeles for quite a few years. I commuted, which sounds kind of crazy, but I came home every 2 weeks. And I could have stayed there and my career would have moved a bit faster, but I wanted to raise my children here. It's a great place, as you know. It's a great place to live. New Mexico is a magical place.
Right. Well, from all the people that from all the people that live here, that travel around, the greatest description of Corrales is it's a great place to come home to.
Yes.
LA is a wonderful place, but it's nutty. San Francisco, Chicago, all the other big cities that you go to and have lived in or visited, when you come back to Corrales, it's just nice and peaceful, wonderful, supportive community, and it's home. That's the biggest thing.
Yep.
It's home. You're home, you put your bags down, you go out in the backyard, and just relax.
Yeah.
When I'd come home from Los Angeles or wherever I was working around the country, family would pick me up at the airport, and driving down Corrales Road in the spring, smelling the Russian olives just would mellow me right out, because you're coming from a fast pace into home.
Down to
as
a
you
slow
said.
place.
Yep.
There's something about coming down Corrales Road and that little dip, and you get that long stretch,
Yeah.
and especially in the summertime when it drops a good 20 degrees down into the valley. You go,
Oh yeah.
So Chris,
Yes, sir.
just to go back to the movies a little bit, what are some of the movies that you worked on? Because you worked on some pretty big movies, didn't you?
Yeah, I was fortunate. In the early days, I did Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn. I worked on that. I worked on Tin Cup, Red Dawn, Second Thoughts, Late for Dinner, some smaller films. I worked on Don Rocketeer, Twins.
And then Spielberg's Always?
Yeah, I worked on Always with Steven Spielberg. I was a location foreman on that. That was up in Montana and in Los Angeles. And that was really exciting. And that designer I worked for a few times, Jim Bissell. I worked Tin Cup. I did a TV series here, Lazarus Man, In Plain Sight. I did, of recent films, I did Godless, a lot of films. I've done quite a few films, TV and features, did mostly features. Did a film in Mexico called Original Sin, Love Field. Not all these I ran, some I was just a carpenter on or foreman on. But moved up and, liked the business, moved up, seemed to have an aptitude for it. And since I had construction skills, it kind of honed my skills.
Yeah.
And you don't call out for a sub, you take care of stuff. You have to get it done.
Right.
And a good friend of mine who left the business a couple of years before me, he's working a 40-hour-a-week job, where in our business you work 60, 70, 80 hours. I said, you're working a 40-hour week? He said, yes, and it doesn't shoot tomorrow. And it shoots tomorrow. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Things change, actors can't make it, schedules change, and you have to just be really flexible.
Go with the flow, so to speak.
Yeah, you're thinking about how you're going to do something as you're turning to do it. It's an exciting business. It's good for New Mexico. A lot of us I guess we're old timers. We were the young guys when I got here. Wanted it to grow, tried to help it grow. It's a good, strong industry here now. It's a clean industry. It's doing well, and it's a good future for a lot of people. Albuquerque, the state, and Albuquerque's been really supportive. There's been great film support here. When I came here, we'd have one film every couple of years. That's why I went to LA to work in film, because I wanted to work in it full time. But it's a good industry here. It brings a lot. People don't realize what it all brings. I mean, they buy their groceries in the grocery stores. my guys, my construction crew, a lot of people were able to buy homes, second homes. Good steady work, a lot of satisfaction.
It's a good clean industry for the state, and it's bringing in more and more money for the state.
There's been different estimates. They used to say what it brings in, it's the quadruple effect. They spend with me, I spend with you, you spend with somebody else. It just builds income. We had a TV series shoot here, and we closed for the day, but the whole company came in and bought from us. They bought for the show, they bought for the costume department, the jewelry. It affects a lot. I mean, those people that come in, they go out to eat. We go out to eat more. We buy more wine.
That's a good thing. That's always a good thing.
Sometimes more than we should, no. But no, film business, I could talk about it forever. It's a good energy, and there's people here. There's a lot of film people here in Corrales. The men I started with, who were doing it longer than me. Her brother David Phillips, Jim Barth. I don't know if you want to mention names, but and
That's how
Ann
I
Lerner.
met you.
Yeah, I met through the film business.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
that's
met
neat.
on the set of Milagro Beanfield War.
Yep.
And we met. Yeah, we met
Through
on
my
a film
brother.
set. Yeah. And it's a good industry. Artistic people. It keeps a lot of people busy. It's good for the state. I think it used to be, I don't know what the figures are now, used to be 12,000 people a year were work affected. You know, they either worked in it or did
Support
some
groups.
work for it, support
Right.
groups. Lots of businesses. I have the construction budget. Last big film I did, I had a $10 million budget. A lot of that money was spent here. $10 million budget. The crew was hired here. The materials were purchased mostly here. I'd say 99%. So it's a good influx to everybody.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. We appreciate it, and best of luck.
Yep.
So thanks a lot for helping us out and talking about your history.
Thanks,
Thank
Al.
you.
All right.
Thank you.